we are going to be having breakfast for dinner, which is another favorite. What we're going to be having tonight is scrambled eggs with a sweet potato hash. We're going to have some fresh fruit, and that's about it. We're going to keep it super simple. So I'm going to show you how it's done. For the scrambled eggs, I'm going to need eggs, salt and pepper. For the fruit, I'm going to cut up a fresh pineapple and some strawberries. And then for the simple sweet potato hash, I'm just going to use some sweet potatoes, which I already baked, an onion, and I'm going to add some salt and pepper and some other spices like garlic powder and onion powder. So I'm going to be cracking the eggs. I'm going to cook about 8 to 10 eggs. So I'm going to start cracking them right into my bowl. So I'm going to tap it gently on the edge until there's some crack marks. I'm going to poke my thumbs into the hole that I just cracked and then gently pull the shell the opposite way apart. So I'm going to do that a whole bunch of times. So as you can see, I've cracked all 8 of the eggs and I have them in a bowl, and what I'm going to be doing next is adding 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to crack some fresh black pepper into the eggs. And then what you do is you're going to take your whisk and you're going to poke each of the yolks, which makes it much easier to do the scrambling, because then they can combine more easily if the yolks are already poked. And you can see I missed one on the right, so I got to get in there and get that one scrambled too. So just continue scrambling until everything is combined. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up a pineapple. The first thing you're going to do is cut off the top. And then cut off the bottom. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to remove the skin. You're going to cut it as close to the edge as possible and leaving as much of the flesh intact. You can use the little eyes, which are the little circles, as a guide for where to do the slices. What we're going to do next is cut the flesh off of the core. Use the core as a guide for where to cut alongside of it. Then you have a nice piece of flesh that has no core attached to it. Lay the pineapple flat so you have a firm surface that's not going to wobble. Again, you're going to use the core as a guide to slice alongside to remove the flesh of the fruit. Then you can throw out the core. Now you're just going to slice the pineapple into long strips and then again into cubes. When you're going to cut strawberries, you want to make sure you have a small paring knife, which is a more appropriate size for cutting a strawberry than the knife I was using to cut the pineapple. So what you want to do is rinse the strawberries, clean them off. You're going to take your knife and just put it underneath the stem and go in a circular motion to pop out the stem. I also have like kind of a bad spot on that strawberry, so I'm just going to remove that. Same thing with this one. This one has a little bit of a bad spot, so I'm just going to cut the top off of that strawberry and just keep the good part. So if you just cut the top off, sometimes you lose a lot of the strawberry that you want to keep. So that's why I do this little coring method where you can just lift up the stem, go right around the stem, and get rid of that. The larger strawberries will get cut into quarters and the small ones in half. In addition to onion, I'm also going to dice up some bell pepper to add to the hash. I'm going to add the peppers to the pan first and let them cook down a little bit before I add the onions, and then I'm just going to saute them all together. Heat the peppers over medium-high heat until they start to soften before adding the onion. I've cut the ends off of the sweet potato, and then what I'm going to do is peel the skin off of it. Remember, they're already baked. This is what they look like once the skin has been removed. Then I'm going to dice it up and put it in the pan with the peppers and onions. I've pushed the peppers and onions to the side so they don't overcook, and I'm going to leave the sweet potatoes in place for a little bit of time in order to let them brown up. The key to cooking the best scrambled eggs is to have a lot of butter and to cook them over very low temperature and cook them slowly. So I'm going to wait for the butter to melt, and I'm going to add my scrambled egg. As I pour the eggs into the pan, you want to make sure that you're stirring them constantly. You'll start to know that the egg sets up once it's starting to cook. I like to top them with a little bit of cheese when they're done. As you can see, this is a winning meal in our house.
We love breakfast for dinner.